Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Spencer Cat with the Hillbilly Think Tank, and I am coming at you live from Tunnel Hills. And oh boy, what a day! Where do we start? Well, first off, this is the Hillbilly Think Tank. Like I said, coming at you live from Hardin County, where Tunnel Hills is, and I am running for Magistrate, District 3. Y'all, here in Hardin County, we know that everything that's worth living for is simply life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And to have this, we've got to have government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now, oh man, how many of you know someone who told you that they voted for Donald Trump because Donald Trump was going to keep us from going to war? Donald Trump was going to keep us from a nuclear holocaust. I heard that all the time, family and friends saying that. Yeah, I have to say, I knew that was a bunch of bull hockey. I'm really sad now to see that people have to realize it, but too late, far too late. Hey, we got Tom on here tonight. Tom saying, I am proud that nobody in my immediate family voted for the Orange Menace. We were all upset in 2016 and even more so in 2024. Well, we found out today that our Captain Bone Spurs has had to have the head of the military absolutely smack him down when he wanted the nuclear codes. Now, if this don't beat all, you tell me what does. I mean, is it not enough that Jesus Donald Trump is pretending to be Jesus Donald Trump, Jesus H. Christ, that is, that he is having a fight with the Pope because the Pope says some, pro-peace things? Oh my gosh, God forbid. But yeah, he has had to have basically his hand smacked away from getting the nuclear codes. He also said today that if he had been the president during the Vietnam era, he would have ended that war quickly. Oh, really? Is that it, Captain Bone Spurs? You had 5 deferments, and yet you would have ended that war quickly. Man, oh man. What kind of jamboree are we in?
Reports say United States President Donald Trump was denied access to nuclear codes. Retired Central Intelligence Agency analyst Larry Johnson made the claim on Judging Freedom. He described an emergency Saturday White House meeting where Trump tried to use them. Johnson said General Dan Kane said no, invoking authority as head of the military. The allegations have not been verified, and the purpose of accessing the codes is unclear. The report follows claims Trump was excluded from the Situation Room during an Iran rescue mission.
So we've just got the most stable genius we've ever had in the White House. So stable. Makes me every night just go to sleep so easy.
Forget incoherent rants about Sharpies in the middle of cabinet meetings or what seem like narcoleptic episodes during those same meetings. Apparently, it's a whole lot more dangerous when the cameras are not looking. According to reporting from the Wall Street Journal, aides are now excluding the president of the United States, the commander-in-chief, from do-or-die meetings about military operations. Specifically, the strategy session about how to exfiltrate 2 airmen after Iran shot down their fighter jet a couple weeks ago. The Journal reports the aides believe the president's impatience wouldn't be helpful and instead updated him at meaningful moments by phone, according to a senior administration official. MS now reached out to the White House for comment and has not received a response back. But again, this is in addition to everything that we can see for ourselves. From those strange and sleepy cabinet meetings to the chaotic and scary social media posts that he types out at all hours of the night, where he fights with the Pope and threatens to end an entire civilization. So it should come as no surprise that Americans are worried as well, and that they're saying so. A new Reuters Ipsos poll out today finds 71% of Americans do not consider the president to be even-tempered. That includes 46 Republicans. 51% of Americans, including 54% of independents, say his mental sharpness has gotten worse over the past year.
Well, you know, I never was one to have believed it was any good at all before this. So I think that, yeah, we all now are coming to see that a portion of us have been played. The question is, what are we really going to do? Is anyone in Congress going to have the balls to stop the insanity? Who's going to invoke the 25th? If the head of the military is having to say, no, you cannot have the nuclear codes, after this very same president threatens to end a country, to wipe it off the face of the earth, what more do we need? You know that Congress knows, the Senate knows. Yeah, they don't have the temerity to save the United States or the world if that means the guardians of the pedophiles have to give up their power. If that means they will lose their power, they would rather keep their power and destroy the safety of the whole world in order to keep a madman in office and retain their power. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't act like this is just something to, not talk about or to whisper about. No, there is an elephant in the room. And if we don't acknowledge it, we are going to absolutely be trampled. We're being trampled. If you aren't feeling the rising costs of everything, I don't know what's going on. I have no clue what's going on. Now, Tom and I have got electric vehicles now, so I'm not feeling the gas crunch. But I know that the wonderful farmers in this county are. They're also feeling the crunch of not being able to afford to put their crops out if they can't afford the diesel, if they can't afford the fertilizer. So, yeah. We got another guest on here. Got Jonathan saying he is not fit to lead. It's an open and shut case. Welcome, Jonathan. Hoping that everything's good in your area. Yeah. Tom says, I'm not in favor of invoking the 25th. That only removes the titular figurehead and leaves us with Vance, described by Alyssa Mastra Monaco as having the charisma of someone who can't put his own iron skillets in the dishwasher. Yeah, I agree. So, Tom saying his spouse is, using the vehicle to commute. I am sure that commute from 2-3 counties away is not as bad when you're driving that EUV. I know I drive 45 minutes a day. Yeah, I don't notice it as far as the cost of moving that vehicle, because my electric vehicle, my Chevy Bolt, it does not hurt me when it comes to gas. But I do feel for anyone else right now who is feeling the gas crunch, who is feeling the diesel crunch, and they need to go plow their fields. Tom says 50 miles each way. There you go. I'm only doing 35 each way. So it's serious. The costs of everything are going up. And yet it's also been announced today that, those tariffs that we supposedly were going to get a refund from, No. The president promised us we'd be getting checks in the mail. Was it $2,000, $5,000 a piece, right? Well, that's not going to happen. And after the Supreme Court said that the tariffs were illegal for the president to use, and that, there would have to be the folks sued to get that tariff money back. Well, the only people that are going to get tariff money is Amazon and Walmart and corporations. Every time you bought something, Amazon had that price on there. So I'm told, because I've been off of buying Amazon for a bit now, but I've been told they had, this would be the price if it wasn't for tariffs. Here's what you're paying in tariffs. Well, Amazon's going to get a tariff refund from this lawsuit, but we're not getting any. We're getting no refunds from the tariffs. So we're not going to get any relief from this president's shenanigans. Now, in addition to that, gas prices are just going to keep on yo-yoing, because we know that special forces landed on one of the Iranian ships, took it over. Iran saying, hey, we're not going to negotiate. So about 9-10 hours ago, the president was saying, the war was going to be back on. And then now he's saying, we're going to have more time to negotiate. So we are absolutely in the hands of a maniac, right? All right, Tom says we haven't felt the full hit on the fuel prices yet. No, we haven't. Nor have we felt the full hit of the cost of fertilizer going up, which is going to jack up the price of our food. Tom says, don't forget to click the like button, folks. I can't be the only one who clicks that. Thank you so much, Tom. Please hit like and subscribe if you would. Let's get this message out. Hey, got other Faye fan on here. The ghost of John Brown. Not to say Trump and his supporters were right. They said if I voted for Kamala, there would be higher gas prices, increased inflation, new wars, World War III, and more. I voted for her, and here we are. That's exactly right. Absolutely right. That's why I've starred that one. Absolutely. So, all of us that voted for her, we were proved right. Yeah, if we voted for her, that would happen because Trump did it. So we are in a bad shape. We know that under 45, people had to hide things from the president that would be dangerous. Back then, he didn't have a whole cabinet full of sycophants. And the ones that did, even they jumped ship at the last minute. But I'm very surprised that General Kane is smacked the president down when he said he wants the nuclear codes. But there we go. So what on earth do we need to see? I don't need, anything else to see that, I've been correct and that we've got to do something. This is not something that's going to help out this county if it keeps on going. It's not going to be anything that's going to help Kentucky, nor will it help the nation. But here again, Trump says he would have won the Vietnam War very quickly if he had been president. Of course, that's after avoiding the draft 5 times. So he said he would have shortened the 19-year war in Vietnam if he had been the president. Right? So this is a president that also just announced that he would give up his rights as a citizen if it meant protecting the military. That's what he said when he said we have to get FISA and approve it, that surveillance on Americans law that he wants to get in. He wants to be able to do secret surveillance on Americans. And he says that he would be just fine with it if it meant keeping the military safe. Well, this is a bunch of hogwash, propaganda, BS. I'm not going to give up my liberties anymore. I hope no one here watching is willing to hand over their liberties in the name of keeping the military safe. As a combat veteran in 2 wars, the first Gulf War, 1990-91, and then Operation Enduring Freedom, and that long-ass war we had after the attack in 2001, I'm still not willing to give up my liberty for propaganda about the military. Nope, I'm not buying it. So I don't care what he tries to tell me. I am not going to buy that, giving up my liberties for surveillance on me and on anyone else in this nation. I hope no one else here will. So let's just think about this tariff scam and how big and bad it is for all of us. You know, we've been bamboozled far too long now.
Not yet done with Donald Trump's tariffs. In fact, the newest development may end up screwing American consumers even more. Do you remember the whole lie about how foreign countries were going to pay the tariffs, but it won't cost you a cent? That was obviously never true, right? It was always American companies who would pay the tariffs, and then they would pass the cost of those tariffs to all of us, right, in prices. And wouldn't you know it, that is exactly what happened. The best estimate is that by January this year, Trump's tariffs cost each family an average of over $1,700. Think about what you could have done with an extra $1,700. And now the Supreme Court confirmed the tariffs were, as many of us argued, in fact, unlawful. The administration very quietly put up a new online portal where companies can go to apply for a refund. Now, notice I said companies, because no matter how much more you paid for things, you do not get to apply for any of that money. No, only the companies that imported the goods and then passed the cost on to you have the possibility of getting money back. You, tough luck.
So, Amazon, Bezos, the man who made the movie for Melania and handed it straight to him, yeah, he's going to get all that tariff refund, not you and me. So this is all more evidence of this being a party for the billionaire class. The guardians of the pedophiles will do anything for the billionaires. They don't care. And if we can't see it by now, I don't know what else can tell us better. Now, here is what my favorite general that I served under in Afghanistan in 2001, 2002 says about what we're going through right now. He has some pretty insightful look at, because of course we know he served in the last regime. So Donald Trump is the first president in my lifetime who does not try to unite the American people, does not even pretend to try. Instead, he tries to divide us. Retired General Jim Mattis, former Trump Defense Secretary. And again, he was a 1-star when I served under him in Afghanistan. He got his 2nd star not long after we got back, and he was made the head of 1st Marines Division. And then, yeah, by the time he got out, he had made his 4 stars. Great leader, very intelligent, thoughtful leader. And this is what he has to say. So that's someone that I absolutely look up to. John Brown says, late stage capitalism for the win, baby. Glad I'm a billionaire CEO Oh, wait, never mind. And Jonathan says the American people are like a big piñata for them. And yes, we are. We are their piñata. They do not care what they do to us, to our daughters, obviously, on the island. It's all a joke. We're just a joke to them. I don't know how much more we need to talk about it to get folks
who
to
supported
really
him.
look at it.
He wrote speeches
We
for
know
him.
now
I
this
campaigned
guy,
for him.
Tucker Carlson's trying to do a mea culpa. If you're buying it, I'm not necessarily buying it. But yeah. So this is how, of course, a lot of people are feeling now. We know the contractors are making a killing. But during all this, here's how MAGA rewards us. Republicans introduce bills to put Trump on Mount Rushmore. The guy who's wanting nuclear codes, they want to put him on Mount Rushmore. Make his birthday a federal holiday, push for official Peace Prize recognition, and place him on a $250 bill. Again, all those things are signs of a dictator. You don't do that for a living president. Never, ever has that been done for a living president in this nation. Only dictators do that while they're in office. That's the sign of being with a dictator and being with a cult, is that you wear all their stuff all the time and put monuments up for them all the time. So I'm not down with that. I'm not down with the cult. Now, in other news, again, here we are. How is any of this helping us in this county? How are farmers going to get ahead when we're giving corporations tariff help, and yet those same tariffs destroyed so many of American farmers? So many family farms went under from last year's tariffs. That trade war with China and Canada, yeah, it didn't hurt Canada or China because they just bought their stuff from other countries and they're not going to buy from us again. Now, today, the president said we're not going to trade with Spain. So as of today, he declares no trading with Spain because Spain is pushing back against using their land to launch attacks. So, any chance we can get to punch a trading partner, a NATO partner in the dick, I guess we'll do that, right? That's what we like to do. Make enemies of our best friends. So what are you and I getting out of this? Well, we know that FBI chief Kash Patel, he's getting to fly around on the FBI's jet whenever he wants to go hear his girlfriend sing in Nashville or Vegas. He's done it numerous times on our taxpayer dollar ever since he's been there. We know that he's been absent for days. They can't even find him for days. Head of the FBI. We know that he went on a crying spree when he found himself locked out of his government computer. He thought he was being fired by the president. So we've got incompetence in the White House from Donald Jesus Christ himself to our Secretary of Defense and another sycophant in Kash Patel. We know that Kash Patel's phone was hacked by Iran. That's how little he pays attention to security. And they posted photos of him that none of us should have been able to see, or should we have, of course. Possibly we could, but he's terrified. He thinks he's going to be fired for his incompetence and for abusing taxpayers' dollars now that it's really coming to light what his game is all about. So is he going to be or is he not going to be? That's my question.
FBI Director Kash Patel just filed a $250 million defamation suit against The Atlantic over an article he called, quote, hit piece. It was not a hit piece. The story is based on interviews with more than 24 current and former officials about Patel's time at the FBI. It alleges excessive drinking, frequent absences, and erratic freakouts. There were reportedly multiple times over the past year where Patel's security detail had trouble waking him because he appeared to be intoxicated. One incident involved a request for breaching equipment, the kind a SWAT team used, after Patel was unreachable behind locked doors.
It's not about alcoholism. In my view, it's incompetence. I don't doubt that the alcohol hurts him, but generally speaking, this is an incompetent person who lacks judgment, doesn't show up for work on time, panics. He's so skittish, he thinks that he's being fired. I don't mind you drinking during the weeknight if you work for me, but be at work the next morning. It doesn't matter why you aren't showing up for work. This guy doesn't appear to be showing up.
It creates a national security risk, which is, I think, why all these people are leaking, right? They dislike him, but he also is a huge national security risk. He's also abusing his privileges. Very Kristi Noem here, right?
Well, I like the idea. Him and Hagseth are now referred to as the liquor cabinet. I think that's a good one.
Well, so, the hits just keep on coming. We've got the mythic night goddess Nyx on here saying, hey there, Orangey, I do not type or say that man's proper name. Yeah, I rarely do either. Says the U.S. economy is on fire. Well, you get my picture. It is for those who have money and can invest, and that's just it. For the investor class, for the billionaire class, this guy is it and a bag of chips. But that's not what I see in my economy. So, y'all, again, it's coming back to what are we going to do? We know that money that is being refunded from tariffs should be going to us. It should be going to farmers. It should be going to veterans here in Hardin County that have business startups that they could get off the ground and help employ people here in Hardin County. We need more mom and pop businesses. And if you didn't catch it, I didn't bring the video up to show it, but Trump was reading off a speech that was written for him. And when it came to talking about corner stores, he's like, corner store? What's a corner store? I never heard of a corner store. So there we go. This is who we elected as a stable genius that's great for business, great for the economy, and great for America. Y'all, and good news, this Saturday is Recycling Saturday for you to dispose of electronics responsibly at an e-scrap event that's being held at AGC Automotive Americas plant. It's at 1 Auto Glass Drive off of Litchfield Road in Elizabethtown. So that's going to happen from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Guys, I believe in recycling, and I'm going to make sure if I've got any electronics, anything that you can plug in, that I'm going to go try to recycle it Saturday. So let's all do that. That's my good news for the day. And hey, one last from the ghost of John Brown before we got to go. Patel has been a man going for him in this regime. On women, has been fired so far. We'll see. Yeah, and that is extremely true, John. This president has done nothing but fire women so far. We talked about the third one that he fired yesterday. Well, let's see if the president actually feels Patel is a man. Who knows? All right, y'all. Have a great rest of the week. Hopefully, knocking on wood, they can keep those nuclear codes from Captain Bone Spurs. We don't want him to try to end this war on that note. And y'all, let's remember, The only way we can get through this is if we stand united. That's our Kentucky motto. United we stand, divided we fall. I love my neighbors just as much as I love myself, because I also know that I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. Bless your corazón. And don't forget those deployed overseas. Let's bring them home as soon as possible and end this senseless war. And on that, we'll let you ride out with some of the pups.
What do you see? What are you seeing? Oh my gosh, is it scary? You scared? You scared?
Yep, they're scared of him getting the nuclear codes too, just like me.